Hello to you all. I hope that you are all doing well on this wonderful Monday evening. Tomorrow is September 1st already. I cannot even believe it. I have an interesting mix of emotions coming to you to do this video, and it's been on my mind all day. As always, I sincerely appreciate anyone who takes the time to listen, to share, to like, comment, give feedback, positive or negative, however that goes. I truly appreciate the time that people put into viewing or reading what I have to say. As much as I enjoy talking about this stuff, which is a great amount. I love what I do. I love having this opportunity to learn and to share with people who are of similar interests as me. I was made aware that one of my videos that I recently did was shared on a website. So I went there to look at the comments, and I was blown away by the complete negativity. And I thought, wow, this is why I just kind of keep to myself and do my own thing, because of the complete lack of receptivity that people have to not hearing what they want to hear. I'm a pre-trib rapture believer, hands down. In fact, knowing the course that my writing and my research was going to take, I went through the research to write a book, Truth in Defense of the Pre-Trib Rapture, because I knew that the course that my research was going to take was going to be along the lines of dispelling things that are taken out of context that people try to apply to the rapture, and the study of the end times as it relates to the 70th week, the second coming in Israel. And I didn't want people to get the wrong idea that I'm a post-tribber, or that I don't believe in the rapture, or that I believe the rapture can happen any other time. So I went through and I kind of got that out of the way. Said, okay, nope, I am. And this is why. This is the biblical support for the pre-trib rapture doctrine. Yep, absolutely. Now let's look at some of this other stuff. I don't talk about the rapture more because it's not the end, and it's not where the biblical timeline leads to. And people don't like hearing that it's not the main focus, that it's a byproduct. It's something that happens as a result of us being promised to be spared from something else that is the main focus, the salvation of the Jewish nation, kind of like what the whole Old Testament's all about. And people tend to forget that there's another 7 years where people are going to be saved, that actually, finishes the Bible out. It rounds out prophecy. We're so rapture focused. We're so us, me. And I actually got upset earlier at these posts that were like, take what she says with a grain of salt, because she talks about the second coming and everything is with a focus toward Israel on a pre-trib rapture forum. And I thought, me, of all people who wrote a book defending the pre-trib rapture, you're going to take what I say with a grain of salt because I dare to discuss the second coming and the salvation of Israel. Wow. That upset me. Why did that upset me? When did we become so self-centered as to want something to happen so quickly because me, I? Yeah, I want to be with Jesus too, okay? But that's like, what does the Bible say about it? Just because I want it to happen, like, what about all these other people? And we have a whole bunch of epistles in the Bible that we read from, the letters to the different churches from Paul's missionary journey. Paul, who was given the apostleship to the Gentiles. Why was he so heart-focused for the Gentiles? Romans 11 says that he is the apostle to the Gentiles, and so he magnifies that office that he was given because his purpose was provoking to emulation them which are his flesh, the Jews, that he might save some of them. Paul was so heart-focused on the Gentiles and the ministry to the Gentiles for the purpose of saving the Jews. Okay? Like, we're already saved. We're already going. Our fates, our eternal destinies are secure. So maybe the fact that I try to focus on like these other people that aren't saved, that are going to be saved at some point in the future. So maybe that's why. Because like maybe I'm not so me focused. Maybe I'm not so worried about what I want, because I know that what I want is going to happen at some point in the future. Like, I'm good. I'm all set. I'm not the one. I don't need to worry about me. Whether I'm here another 5 years or 10 years, or I, get raptured tomorrow, or maybe I die. Maybe I don't even see the rapture because maybe I get hit by a bus tomorrow. So maybe the focus that I have about the end times and Israel and the people groups that are still left to be saved, and trying to talk about why this is going to happen and when it's going to happen and all of that, maybe it's not for me. I mean, I learn so that I can share, but it's just, I could not believe what I was reading, that people who aren't saying the rapture is going to happen immediately, or trying to work around to the fact that, anybody who has a different opinion, it's like, oh, don't listen to them because they dare discuss the second coming and the salvation of a people group that comes after we leave. Whoa. Is at that point, I think we need to take a step back and analyze where our hearts are at. All the law is fulfilled in this one word, all the law is fulfilled in this one word, even in this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. It's funny because I'm actually writing to the church about the church of Ephesus as I write this next book, which is a study of the book of Revelation. I already presented chapter 1, working on chapter 2, and I finished the letter to the church of Ephesus, which is the first one, but I need to go back and talk more about the armor of God because I kind of left it out and I need to put it in there. But what were they rebuked for? Leaving their first love. Literally leaving their first love. What does the book of Ephesians talk about? Preserving the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace, loving each other. It all ties into what Paul talked about in 1 Corinthians 13. You can have all the knowledge of all the prophecies and everything. You can know everything, you can whatever. But if you don't have love, you have nothing. And in our midst to be right, and in our midst to hurry this thing along, who are we throwing under the bus? Someone who dares to have a different opinion, like, well, maybe it's not going to happen as soon as we want. Oh, no, you can't say that. You're a rapture hater. Really? Because I dare to want as many people to be saved as possible. Like, wow. So why don't I talk about the rapture more? Because I'm going. I know that. So maybe something that I say along the lines of talking about what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, who it affects, how it's going to affect them, and all of that over the course of 12 books, maybe, just maybe, not always talking about the rapture might actually benefit someone who actually just needs to be saved. Because then maybe they'll get to go too. I do everything possible not to be one-dimensional on this channel. Does that mean that I don't believe in the rapture or that I don't want it to happen? No. No. And I just really, really would caution people against taking this kind of attitude and saying these kind of things. That really bothered me earlier. Like, I totally appreciate my work being shared. But honestly, if it's going to be shared in that environment where people like automatically throw it away because I don't talk about or with a focus toward what they want me to, I would rather it not be shared there. Because those are obviously not the people who are going to benefit from what I have to say. I would rather that I spend as much time talking about as many different topics as possible so that as many people find something of value here. because that's what I'm trying to do, is provide value in whatever way and however way to whomever can get value. And that is not always going to be talking about the rapture. But more importantly, why don't I talk about it more from my personal perspective? Because I'm already going to go. Like, that's done. So knowing that that's secure, maybe we can like move on and talk about something else that impacts someone else in a way that perhaps might be more beneficial, instead of like, can it happen here? Can it happen here? Well, no. No, it can't just happen at any time. But when it does, I'm ready for it. So maybe my time is better spent helping to get other people prepared in a way that benefits and adds value to them. And that's what I seek to do here. And that's why I don't talk about the rapture more, because maybe somebody else needs to hear about eternal security. Maybe somebody else needs something that will just provide them peace in their life. Maybe somebody else wants to understand some other thing. I mean, goodness forbid we talk about other subjects, like, because we don't want to be well-rounded or anything like that. I want to be well-rounded. I want to know as much as I can about everything that I can. And then I'm going to share it with all of you guys so that someone out there in some way can find value in it. And if you don't find value in it, there's hundreds of other channels. And I wish you Godspeed in finding something that fits your needs better. But as for me, I'm going to talk about everything. And it's not because I don't believe in the pre-trib rapture. And it's not because I don't want it to happen. It's because that's not the only valuable piece of information in the Bible. So that's why I do what I do. Good evening to you all. Have a wonderful evening, and God bless you in your Bible studies, whether it's here or elsewhere, in whatever subject you study and whatever topic you study. But do not get on someone else's case, please, for not talking about what you want to talk about in the way you want to talk about it. Just find another channel, that's all. Find something that suits your needs better. That's all you got to do. We're all brothers and sisters in Christ, and we're all working toward the same purpose. That's all. Have a good evening, everybody.